it's not going to be anyone in there because I forgot to announce it. So.
Oh.
But we're live.
Where am I at? Okay.
And
trying to find the center.
We're live. I'm going to share out the live real quick.
Yeah, me too.
Get us some people. Somebody's phone just went off.
Mine. Sorry, I'll put it on.
Nah, it's okay.
I forgot to take it off because my daughter's at a holiday dance right now. So I'm like, I have to be sure to have it on whenever I need to pick her up.
Right. It looks like there's one in, and if it's one of you guys, it may be one of you guys.
Not me.
Yeah, I didn't join it. We have somebody.
Okay, well then we'll start.
I didn't join it.
Oh,
we have somebody. That's me.
Hey guys, tonight's Spilling the Disney Tea. We have a special guest. His name is Passholder Trav, or his YouTube channel is Passholder Trav. His name is Travis. You've probably, if you watch Bob and Ashley, you've probably seen him on their live streams. So I thought we would invite him in. It looks like we do have some people in. We've got
Bob and Ashley, Kid Shady.
Candy's mom and Bob and Ashley.
Kid Shady.
Kid Shady.
That's what some of them call me over there.
Oh my God, that's funny.
All right. So if you guys want to check Travis out, I put a link down in the description to his page. If any of my moderators, oh my gosh, I can't even speak today, that are in, you can also put his link in the comments to let people, so people can check him out. We invited him in, and he's going to spill all the tea about anything Galaxy's Edge and just chit chat with us. And because it's Friday the 13th, I figured we could each say something kind of scary. And that was like, they probably didn't know I was going to ask that because I forgot to tell them. So any kind of scary story you have, we may say it later. But yeah, so let's just get started with Kelly. What have you been doing this week? Or Kelly, gosh, sorry, Nikki. It's Friday.
So, hey, everybody. So this week has been super busy for us. Obviously, we've been doing Vlogmas. And aside from Vlogmas, I have my own channel that I'm doing individual videos. And I've been doing a lot of like tutorials, like how to treats and stuff like that. So I've been busy doing that. I'm finishing up a couple of vlogs to put on to the channel soon. And finishing up my holiday shopping. I still have a couple more people that I have to get for. And then I have to ship out some packages. And so, yeah, it's been super busy. But on the California side, we have been getting a lot of rain. And I think this last 3 days we haven't had rain, which is weird. Because we had like a rainstorm that came in, and it was literally rain for an entire week. So we had tons of snow on the mountains. I think it was the most snow that we've ever had to date on the mountains. It was like, it snowed in certain cities that it's never snowed at before. So,
really?
Yeah, California are you in? Yeah, we're close to Mount Baldy. So it's about 20 minutes away from us. And you can literally, from my front porch, you can see the mountains, and there was like tons of snow on there. So it is chilly in California. So if you're planning a holiday trip to California, do pack a jacket or a sweater. It's not freezing temperatures, but it's a little chilly. It can get like down to 34 degrees at night. And aside from that, we've been doing a lot of holiday stuff for Disneyland. We have Festival of the Holidays going on right now. So a lot of foodies are here for Festival of Holidays, trying out different foods. We've got a whole new holiday, what's it called? It's World of Color, but it's new for the holidays. So they changed it to a holiday theme this year, which is the first time that they've ever done that. And it's like has Christmas songs and stuff like that. So I haven't actually seen it yet, but I've been, and I didn't want to spoil it for myself, but I'm going to the park soon. So I can't wait to actually see it for myself. I heard it's really good and it snows and the whole thing. So I'm super excited to see that.
So we had, or there is Festival of the Holidays going on at Epcot right now too. And for me, I got to Disney the last day of Food and Wine. So I went to Epcot and I went to Hollywood Studios, and I think I also went to Animal Kingdom that day. And then our last day was the first day of Festival of the Holidays, so I got to do that too. And we were at three parks that day too.
That was the day that I met you. Was the first day you were there, I think.
Yeah, I was there. I met up with Travis at Hollywood Studios in Galaxy's Edge, and then we went and rode Rock and Roller Coaster, which was the first time I ever rode it. And I rode it one other time while we were there, like I think the last day or something.
Which is crazy because I actually thought, I don't know why, for some reason, I guess West Coast doesn't get that much information about Florida, but the last I heard, they were closing down Rock and Roller Coaster for good and they weren't going to bring it back. And all of a sudden it's like open again. And I'm like, what? So what happened?
In Paris, they closed it. Man, Disneyland Paris, it's closed.
Oh,
they're retheming it there. It was the same ride there, so they're retheming it in Paris. It's still open here, though.
So Cynthia said, Nikki, do you need my address if you're still shopping? LOL.
Yes. Actually, I'm sending out Christmas cards to everybody. So
nice.
Whoever wants to get a Christmas card from me, you can either send one to me and I'll send one back to you, or you can just message me on Instagram or Facebook and just send me your address and I'll send out Christmas cards. We're actually doing a really funny theme this year. So we actually bought ugly sweaters and it's this really funny like gag postcard that we're doing. So
cute. Yeah. I sent out every single one of my Christmas cards. I don't have any left, but I think I'm going to order some more way ahead of time because last time I was like crunching to get them in. And then Mr. Fulton says tomorrow is his his brother's. Sorry, gosh, I can't. What is wrong with me today? Carson's birthday, he's turning 19 years old. Happy birthday! My birthday is Tuesday.
Nice.
I'm turning
25. Birthdays, woohoo!
I'm turning 25 forever.
On what you said about being cold in California. Funny story is I was there last February, Disneyland, and the only time in my life I've ever scraped ice from a windshield was in Anaheim.
Yeah.
The last day we were there, it was so cold. I came out to my rental car and I just thought the windshield was fogged up and I turned the wipers on. It was like, are you kidding me? That's ice. It was frozen. I was in Southern California. It was so cold the whole time we were there. It just rained every day.
Yeah, it was last year was brutal. We had record rainfall last year and it rained all the way up until like mid-March. It was crazy. It seemed like it rained almost every single day.
Candy Mom, no, those are not my ears. Those are my daughter's ears on the wall. No, they're definitely not mine. I buy them, so I guess they are mine. In a weird way, yeah. I guess they are. But I don't wear them. But,
I came home to snow from Disney. Ice and snow. It was like sleeting.
I got to Disneyland on what day? It was Valentine's Day last year, and it was
wow.
cold. I don't think it ever got warmer than 57. It was so cold that week, but we were still at Disneyland. It didn't matter. We had fun.
Yeah, that's what it is right now. Like in the daytime, we've got like mid 50s, maybe 60 if we're lucky. And then the nighttime temperatures are like in the low 30s. But yeah, whenever winter comes here, if it's a good winter, we get really cold nights and then really chilly mornings. And the thing that we love about it though is like whenever it rains, because it's so cold, it'll literally snow on the mountains. And California Southern California at least, we're so close to everything. So we're literally like 30 to 40 minutes from the beach, but we're like 20 minutes from the mountains. So we could either go surfing or we could go sledding. Like,
Yeah, that's cool about California. You can do that. You can go skiing in the morning and surfing in the afternoon.
Yep, and that's what a lot of people do.
That's great.
Hi, Lena. Hi, Mike. Sorry, I just saw that they said hey. It's like 72. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's 72 in Vero Beach right now. Oh my God.
Yes.
What the heck?
It finally feels like Florida again. It was cold here for like 10 days. It was very unseasonable for us.
It's been misting like a mist all day today. It's kind of like those mists where you walk outside and you're like, it's not raining enough to have an umbrella. But then you walk to your car and you're like, why am I stopping wet?
Yesterday it poured all day long here. And then today it's, I mean, on and off rain, but nothing crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
what's been going on with you this week, Christy?
This week, oh my gosh. So I don't usually talk about my job because I keep job and social separate, but I work for a company that has year end, but my year end is pretty much everything expires and I have to get it renewed. So it's been crazy. I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail about my work, but it's a pharmaceutical company. So it's a whole lot of crap, not crap, but it's a whole lot of expiring things that I have to get renewed. And so it's been super busy all week. And it was like my first full week back to work because we got back Sunday of the week before and I took Monday off because we were gone 8 days and we had no clean clothes. I mean, we did, but I had to clean some clothes. I had to grocery shop.
Laundry day.
So other than making sure all my Vlogmas videos get out and trying to catch up on everyone's, in case anyone doesn't know, which I'm pretty sure all of you know, I'm doing daily Vlogmas and there's swaps every single day. So I'm just making sure that everyone posts their video, everyone got their boxes, and I'm commenting on everybody's videos because, I mean, I'm obligated to watch them. I want to anyway.
Crazy. Like the amount of vlogs are going on right now because of your Vlogmas thing.
It's
like
crazy.
My phone every morning is just like lights up like a Christmas tree. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Next year
is going on.
Next year is going to be worse because I scheduled all 25 days instead of just 17. Because this year I scheduled 17 to lead up to my birthday, and I opened my favorite thing to get every year on my birthday, which is candles. I love candles. But yeah, so next year I'm doing 25 days plus a different kind of swap that lasts the whole month. So one day you'll see 2 videos from me. And
holy smokes. That's a lot.
Yeah. So I'm starting it in January. That way I have a whole year because I thought, oh, July would be fine. 6 months. No, that's not enough time. I need a whole year.
Yeah.
Hi, Life with Roxana. How are you?
Hey.
So Trav, what's been going on with you?
Oh, really, really, really busy at work. It's just, you know, I work for the post office, if anyone didn't know. So it's definitely our time right now and super busy. But that's about it. If you see my finger, I've got a bandage on it. I smashed my finger at work this week and it's pretty gnarly looking. So
ouch. If
anyone wonders why I have a red finger, it's because it's wrapped up. So
it's his Rudolph finger.
That was a good one. But that was awful. It hurt so bad. But that was yesterday that happened. Didn't really sleep much last night because it was just throbbing all night long.
Oh.
Ouch.
You not take anything, or you took something and it just
yeah, I took like some ibuprofen and you know, I think I had it wrapped up too tight because I ended up having to take like the wrap off my finger because it was just throbbing so bad last night. I didn't get much sleep. I'd fall asleep and then in 10 minutes I'd wake back up and it'd be throbbing again. So it hurt. I mean, split the nail in half.
Ow.
I feel like I have to explain what happened because it's so crazy how it happened. Like I was at work and I picked up a package and it was like 40 pounds. And it was a truck hitch that, you know, mounts underneath of a truck. And the hitch was like, I don't know, 2 feet. And it was in a box that was like 4 feet. And so I picked it up. It was really heavy. It was like 30, 40 pounds. So I picked it up, I scanned it, and I went to set it down where it goes. Well, the box, like I said, was like twice the size of what was inside of it. So when I went to set it down, the weight shifted and it just slammed my hand to the floor.
Ouch.
The steel, whatever, the hitch like came through the side of the box and just slammed right down on my finger, and it just split
my god,
in half. It was bleeding. It was a mess. But yeah, so that happened yesterday.
You need to get some liquid Band-Aid or just super glue.
Yeah, I've been wrapping it up with I have like Band-Aids on it and like some antibiotic stuff, and I've found like the best thing to wrap it up in has been electrical tape, honestly.
Yeah,
because the Band-Aid won't stay on for what I do, so I just been wrapping it up in electrical tape. Seems to be pliable. It works good.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah. So that's been about it. Just really busy. I did get to the parks though this week, so that was fun. I didn't think that was
Mom
going
says
to
you
happen.
sent 3 pictures of the finger to him.
I did. Did Bob just say that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did. I did. As soon as it happened, I sent it to him.
Oh my god! You're like, look how gnarly this is.
But it wasn't like in a nice red wrapping. It was probably bloody and nasty, and he can handle it.
Bob's like, it's all over Instagram.
I'm like, this is
speaking of post office.
Up at 5:30 in the morning. Yeah, Bob works there too. So, well, not with me, but he works at the post office.
So about post office, I don't know if you guys ever do this or anybody in the chat. But we, like, every year, I think my grandfather started this tradition like a couple years back, and we've just always like continued it. But we always leave like snacks and drinks and stuff for the postal workers. So whenever they drop off packages and mail and stuff, they have something like a little goodie or something for them. So our postman, his name's Evan. And we've gotten really close to him. We know when he's working and we know when he's off, because when he's off, our packages get thrown over our fence. So we have like this little, it's just a small like chain link fence, but we planted jasmine plants all across it. So it makes a huge like hedge in front of our house, which is really nice as far as like, you know, aesthetics and smell and everything else. But for some reason, people think that we have like dogs or animals or anything. So they never open the gate. They just like throw the package over the fence. But he knows that we don't have dogs. And so he always comes up and leaves the packages on the front porch. And so we always left him like cookies and like bottled water, or sometimes we'll leave him like a disposable like hot chocolate cup in there. But now we've started to expand it, and we've done like for all the UPS drivers and all that kind of stuff. And we just leave like a little bucket and we fill it with like bottled water and some homemade cookies and some chips and pretzels and stuff like that. So that way they have a little goodie, just kind of like a little thank you.
Hey, Amtrak traveler. That is really like, I've never met my post person ever, but the FedEx guy is here a lot. And it's usually one of the 2 same people, but I don't know their names.
Yeah, like we've gotten so close to him. It's so funny that like one time, it was years back, we left him some cookies and like a bottle of water, and we were just like, you know, happy holidays, thanks for delivering our packages. And he actually came to the door and knocked on the door, and he was like, thank you so much for the stuff and everything. And he introduced himself. And so ever since then, we've known him by name. And even whenever he's out delivering packages to somebody else's house, he'll like make it a point to like wave hi to me when I'm driving by or something. So it's really cool.
So, well, I'll ask it, but you don't have to answer. Did you have any, when you used to deliver, did you ever have any kind of like weird meetings with people or good ones?
Just, you see everything when you're in the neighborhood. Bob can actually attest to this. Like you're in like residential neighborhoods when 95% of the people aren't home, like they're working. So you notice everything that's out of the ordinary that doesn't seem right. Like, so, I mean, I don't really know that I've had can remember anything that like stands out, but you can definitely tell when something's off because, you know, you see these people's homes every day. You tend to, you know, figure out what goes on in those neighborhoods on a daily basis, which isn't much in a normal neighborhood. Nothing happens. So you always notice when something's off. I'll say that, but I don't know that I can remember anything offhand. Weird.
You never get those weird, like, single women showing up in their nightgown, like answering the door to get their package.
I mean, probably like in the summertime or something, you know, like out at the pool or something, like coming to the door half dressed or something like that. But
that's what Bob just said. He said people answer the door nude.
Answer the door nude. Oh my gosh.
I've never had that happen.
I have answered the door with my robe on. Like I had just gotten out of the shower and the door is ringing. I'm like, well, let me just throw on my robe, but I'm not like, I'm covered. I'm not walking around and
like who's running around butt naked? Like,
hey,
oh my God, gotta ring at the door. Let me go answer that.
I've answered the door before. I was putting on makeup and I had my eyeliner done on one eye, but not the other. And I opened the door and the guy was like,
just cover one eye. She's like, thanks for my package. Oh my gosh.
Amtrak traveler. I want to take an Amtrak. I think it sounds like fun.
Oh, Amtrak traveler. Hey, Johan, how are you?
So you taking the Coast Starlight? Is that a train? I'm assuming.
Yeah, Amtrak. Yeah, he does. Well, he's getting ready to. He's in talks with Amtrak to do like a whole series of like traveling via train to different destinations and stuff. So
there's a few people that do that on YouTube.
Yeah, so I know that he's in talks with them about like doing like Southern California and stuff like that.
Take Sheldon with you.
The longest train ride I've ever been on is been, like Disney. That's about it. I never went on a train as a mode of transportation. It's always been for, you know, like in a theme park or something.
I've taken the train from Philadelphia to New York City.
Actually, I did. That's not true. I took a train from, there's a train that runs from downtown Denver to the Denver airport. It's like, I don't know, 10 miles or something like that. But that's about it. I forgot about that. I did that a couple years ago.
Yeah, we do the train a lot here in California. Just because like we have.
I would too, because traffic doesn't move.
Well, yeah, and we don't have like subway systems like New York does, but we have trains. So we take Metrolink. Like Scotty takes it every day to and from work. So he takes it every morning to and from work. And then sometimes whenever we want to go to downtown LA, but we don't want to drive and do the whole like hour and a half commute, we'll just take the train, and it takes like 15-20 minutes to get there. And then it's like no traffic. So it's like the best thing. So we usually do the train. And on the weekends, they usually have like a weekend pass. It's $10 for the entire weekend, round trip, wherever you want to go. So that's like the best thing to do.
Last February, when I was in Anaheim, Disneyland, the last day we were there, our flight left at like 4 o'clock or something like that. So we had pretty much all day. But we left Anaheim. We stayed right across the street from Disneyland and off property. But I mean, we were there for a week. I couldn't afford that Disney price for a week. But we went from Disneyland to Santa Monica Pier, it's like 35 miles. It took 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
2 hours and 40 minutes to go 35 miles. So yeah, I would definitely use the train, and the trains run like right down the middle of the freeway and stuff. That's pretty cool. And then there's even
it's crazy
that
too.
go down the middle of the freeway too.
Yeah, like I know a lot of people say like from out of state and stuff, they're like, oh my God, it takes forever to get from here to there. But it's like you just have to know like where and when to navigate and like where to go. Because like for you, if you stayed across the street from Disneyland and you wanted to go to like say downtown LA or Santa Monica or whatever, there's a free shuttle that goes from the Disneyland parks. It's like a shuttle service, and it goes from the Disneyland parks to Anaheim Stadium, which
The Angels.
They've changed it now. It's called the Arctic. It's like the train station over there, but it basically takes you to the Arctic. And then from the Arctic, you can take it pretty much anywhere. So you can take a train to San Diego. You can take a train to Santa Monica. You can take a train to downtown LA. And it's like quick. So.
Well, it's funny because the day we left was a Tuesday, and on Sunday we didn't do a park day because Monday we went to Knott's Berry Farm, and then Tuesday we left. But so we were at Disneyland like all week up until like Saturday was the last day, and then Sunday we went into LA for like, you know, Hollywood and all that stuff. And it took 45 minutes maybe to get from Anaheim to LA. On a weekday, Tuesday, it took 2 hours and 40 minutes.
Yeah, because you're in commuter traffic.
I was blown away. Like, I mean, it takes me, I live, I think 96 miles from my driveway to like Magic Kingdom, basically. I mean, I can be from my driveway to Disney property in an hour and 40 minutes, hour and 45 minutes. So, I mean, 2 hours, I'm at a park. So that's just blows me away that it took me that long. And that's 100 miles.
Yeah.
35 miles. It took 2 hours and 40
minutes.
Are
you kidding me? Like, we know for a fact, like tonight, right now on Friday nights, you never want to take the 10 freeway going west, because if you're taking the 10 freeway going west, you're going to end up in the worst traffic imaginable, because everybody is heading towards Vegas, because we only live 4 hours away from Vegas.
Oh, wow.
So everybody on Friday night, they leave from work, like they grab their bags or whatever, take off, go to Vegas, and they're there all the way up until Sunday morning, and then they start making their drive back. So there's traffic all the way there, and there's traffic all the way back.
I'm coming to stay with you. I've never been to Vegas.
Oh, yeah. I used to live in Vegas for a good 4 or 5 years.
I haven't been to Vegas in a long time, but I've been there.
I live south of Nashville, and I used to work in downtown Nashville, and it would take me an hour and a half to work, and then an hour and a half to drive back. So 3 hours out of my day, I'm driving. Yeah. I don't work in downtown Nashville anymore. I actually work really close to here, but it's still a 20-minute drive because I'm kind of out in the country.
Yeah.
Christy, did you see Mickey Bunch?
Yeah, Kelly said that she just got off the Skyliner. She'll join after dinner.
She has dinner reservations.
Where at?
I think it's at the Riviera.
Yeah, she posted a picture of the Riviera.
They're doing cast member previews, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
know they had a media.
They officially opened it today.
Yeah, I was about to say they opened it today.
Yeah.
Because when I was there, they were talking about giving tours of the Riviera.
DVD media tours, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like they were like, if
they were doing DVC stuff, yeah.
But they didn't ever tour us because we went to the DVC meetup to get $150 gift card and 6 free fast passes or 4.
You're not DVC, right?
No, we went to the meeting so that we could get the
How
free
boring
passes.
was it?
It was extremely boring. That was only an hour and a half. It felt like 4.
They make you sit through that spill. If you're going to get them free tickets and the fast pass, I mean, they want you to sit through it all. But yeah, we had to do the same thing, but we ended up getting DVC. So like we have DVC. But yeah, and it's, I mean, I love the perks of having DVC, but I think honestly that there should be like a little bit more, because the only thing really that we get in California now, I'm not talking about Walt Disney World, because Walt Disney World is a whole different animal. If you have DVC over there, like you're literally reaping the benefits, because they have DVC, like the Moonlight Magics. They have them at almost every park. They have them every like month or whatever. Here in California, we only get 2 a year.
Oh.
And that's it. And then they'll have like where you can tour the soaring ride. So you can take a backstage tour of soaring, and you can see like the mechanics of how it works and everything. And then they'll have a Halloween party and a Christmas party, but those you have to pay for. They don't come free. You have to pay like for your meal and everything, which is like $65 or something. But Walt Disney World has so many perks and so many different things that it's like, it really doesn't compare to have DVC in California versus DVC in Walt Disney World.
Do you ever know Walt Disney World?
Well, I've been, we actually went for our honeymoon just this last year. So we went to Walt Disney World for DVC, for our honeymoon, but there was no DVC events going on during the time that we were there. So we didn't get to do
resort there for DVC.
Huh?
What's your home resort? Your DVC resort at Disneyland?
It's Copper Creek.
Oh, in California?
Nope. Walt Disney World.
oh, you got Copper Creek as your home resort. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We got it for Walt Disney World because over here, the only resort that they have is the Grand Californian.
Yeah.
So unless they plan on opening the other resort that they're talking about, they're rumoring they're going to be opening a resort soon. So if that happens,
Wilderness Lodge, it's the same resort pretty much.
Yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, but see, it's like for us, it's difficult because like right now, I was trying to see if I could book a trip for next year to go to Walt Disney World, and you literally have to be like on the 9-month mark, like on the day, to get your rooms. And if you don't, you're pretty much like screwed. Like you're hardly going to find a place. And so it's really difficult. And then over here in California, it's even harder because like I have points right now and I wanted to use them in California at Disney's Grand, but every night is booked. Like I've checked all the way up until April of next year, booked. I can't even stay one night in Grand Californian if I wanted to.
It's funny because like growing up in Florida and going to Walt Disney World so much, like when I was at Disneyland, like the hotels, I understand it's so much smaller and I get that, but they just, I mean, maybe for you grew up with that, so it just, those hotels feel Disney. When I was there, I was like, these things just don't feel like Disney to me.
They're not as grand.
They're just like a tower hotel. I'm like,
the Grand Californian.
Grand Californian is the most Disney looking hotel out there, in my opinion.
Yeah, like the Grand Californian and Paradise Pier, to me, they're just hotel rooms. They don't, to me, they don't exude any kind of Disney spirit or have any kind of nostalgic factor to me.
I mean, I feel like Paradise Pier looks like it might have even been there. Like it probably didn't used to be a Disney hotel. Like it
wasn't. It actually was a different hotel.
Yeah, it looks like a Quality Inn and like
it was I want to say it was a Hilton. I can't remember offhand, but it was a different hotel, and then they bought it and just renovated the inside of it and turned it into Paradise Pier.
It's nice. I walk through it every morning on my way to the park. Because I'm like on the backside of Catella and Disneyland Drive.
Yeah,
right there, and where my hotel was. So I would walk through their lobby every morning because it was so cold when I was there. So I needed to warm up a little bit.
Yeah, the only one that actually has like any kind of nostalgia is the Disneyland Hotel, and that's because it's been there since the 60s. And I remember back whenever we had just one tower. Now we have 3. but we used to have one tower, and then we expanded and we got the other 2 towers. But in the middle of the towers was like this huge lake, and it had a lagoon, and they actually had the remote control boats that you could drive around in the lake. And they had like a water fountain feature, like a waterfall with like a water feature, and they would have like little shows where the water would go off, and then they had a stage, and they would do like small performances and stuff. But now they've gotten rid of all of that, and that's where the like downtown Disney area is now. So yeah.
Yeah, I heard that they're they closed that whole backside of downtown Disney, like where the travel agency and all, and what was that Earl Sandwich and all that.
Yeah.
They closed all that ESPN zone. They were going to build that resort that fell through or whatever. And I just heard that they just proposed to the city of Anaheim that they want to build a DVC resort there.
Yeah.
All DVC. Well, I'm sure you can stay there if you're not DVC, but that's like the main selling point is they want to sell timeshares there.
Yeah. But, I think they want to make it kind of like Riviera, where you can stay there, but they also like cater to DVC. It's more of a DVC hotel. So I think they want to do that. And the reason why is because so many DVC members here in California are like, we can never get a room. Like you can't ever book anything. Yeah. So we don't have any rooms, and they won't book you in any of the other hotels. So like if you wanted to stay at the Disneyland Hotel and you're a DVC member, you have to literally like sell your points to DVC, or like you sell them for cash basically. And then with that money, you can turn around and book a room, which is stupid.
Yeah.
It's like, you might as well just like convert it and let us stay at the Disneyland Hotel if we wanted to. It's so stupid, but.
How far away from Disneyland do you live?
I'm literally 30 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad at all. Do you ever go to Knott's?
Yeah, I love Knott's Berry Farm. In fact, we're actually going this Sunday to Knott's Berry Farm for all the holiday festivities and everything. And you mentioned you went to Knott's Berry Farm. How did you like it?
I loved it. That was the first time I ever been there. I was nostalgic for that park, and I had never been there. And the only reason because it was in Vacation, so the National Lampoon's Vacation. So when I was there, I'm like, oh my god, like I know this, like the old. You know what I'm talking about, like the entrance way with the arches and stuff. Yeah. So, I loved it. I had a great time at Knott's. It was fun. I mean, it's all you need is really one day. I mean, of course, it was in February, so it wasn't that busy. So, but it was President's Day when we were there, so school was out, so it was a little bit busier than normal. So, yeah. But I had fun. I liked it. I loved that we rode everything that mattered anyway. Ghost Rider and what is the drop coaster? Oh yeah, that blue one, whatever it's called, Hang 10 or something. Yeah, like that. And then we Hang Time, that one. That launch coaster though is something I have never grayed out on a roller coaster in my life until that roller coaster.
Oh, are you talking about Accelerator?
Yes. I didn't black out, but by the time we got to the top, like, because it just launches you to like 80 miles an hour or something ridiculous, and then it goes straight up in the air. When we got to the top of that hill, I did not know what happened. I'm like, where the heck am I? And then I wasn't like, I didn't like pass out or nothing, but I was pretty sure I was not coherent while it was exhilarating. We got to I was fine once we got to the top. I was like, woohoo! But I did not know how I got there. I was like, oh my god, it accelerated so fast. It was
that ride is pretty scary and
intense.
I like
intense coaster.
Yeah, I like Knott's Berry Farm because of the nostalgia factor. Because again, like when I was little, I remember going with my grandmother when I was a baby, and like, well, I don't remember because I've been going my entire life, but there's pictures of me as a baby, like on the merry-go-round there at Knott's Berry Farm
there. So I was like, I have to get this while I'm here because I may never come back. So I'm getting it.
Yeah. And then they have, I know that like the history of Knott's Berry Farm is really cool. Like I've always thought about doing a vlog on the history of Knott's Berry Farm. because we actually live in Pomona, California, and this city,
So,
Walter Knott actually built his house when he married his wife. He built his house here in Pomona. So their house is literally like 2 minutes from my house. And so that's really cool. And the fact that like Walt Disney really loved the Knott's Berry Farm Park so much that it like inspired him to build the Disneyland park. So that's a lot of things that people don't talk about, is like Walter Knott and Walt Disney had like a huge friendship, and he was always getting ideas and stuff like that from the Knott's Berry Farm Park. And
they both played off each other. Like, I mean, even a lot of the Justin Scarred videos will talk about the history of Knott's Berry Farm, and he goes into they just played off each other, like Big Thunder Mountain and the mine ride at Knott's Berry Farm. I mean, you cannot help but see the similarities.
Yeah,
very similar.
It inspired Walt to build Big Thunder Railroad because of the mine train ride, and you can see it like when you go to the mine train ride. You can see it, and you're just like, this reminds you of something. Like
it does, yeah.
The only difference is that the mine train is slow, and the Big Thunder Railroad is fast. But like honestly, as far as like the design of it and the fact that they have like animatronics and like dynamite and the whole thing, like it's almost similar. So
Christy, have you ever been to Disneyland?
Mine train back and forth. Like you go like this and it starts going.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Disneyland, Christy?
I have not.
No?
She's got to come. I'm telling you, like, you got to come down here.
Yeah, I'll come stay with you.
Yeah, I mean, I have guest bedrooms. Like,
you're gonna say what everybody says when they go to Disneyland after being like, I grew up Walt Disney World. I mean, born and raised in Florida. I've been going there since I was born. I mean, my mom tells me the first time I was there, I was 6 months old. Like, I mean, I've literally been coming my entire life to Disney. But when you walk in to Disneyland, it's the same but different.
Much smaller.
Honestly, I told Bob and Ashley, like, when they were going there, I was like, it's like everyone are going to say, oh, you're going to hate it. Like, people that aren't like Disney purists and just go for just because, I don't know, to go. Like, I love Disney. So, but I did not notice the size difference when I was in Disneyland Park. You just don't know. Like, I mean, once you go underneath that train bridge, like, and you're inside Disneyland Park, it doesn't feel, I mean, obviously you can tell, like, when you can walk from Big Thunder Mountain to Space Mountain in 3 minutes as opposed to 15 or 20. I mean, it's obviously, but as far, I just didn't realize how small it was when I was in there. I didn't. Like, it did not dawn on me.
That you can tell is the huge difference is the castle, because like when you're standing on one end of Main Street and you look at the castle, you're like, oh, that's so cute. It's so tiny. Like,
Bob and Ashley, you're absolutely right. They just said it feels more intimate, and it does.
Yeah,
it does. And there is a very Walt. It's hard to explain, but you can feel him in that park. Just to know that he walked on that main street and touched things in that park, just especially when you go through the shops on Main Street, like through the Emporium, and then on the other side, like with the bench and all that, and like where the Mr. Lincoln, what is it?
Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln.
Like, see all the Disneyland memorabilia. It's very Walt centric, and it hits you in the feels. Yes,
it definitely does. Like, that's one of the things that I could tell the difference. When I went to Walt Disney World, I love Walt Disney World. I love going there. But to me, it was like
something missing.
It was a theme park. Like, I walked in and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, it's a theme park. And I went and I had fun and I went on the rides and everything else. But when I go to Disneyland, I feel at home. I feel like, like Walt's there. And it's so weird because you can walk by and you can see like the park bench, like where he sat and like hung out and ate popcorn and watched people go by. And you see the like his apartment above the fire station, and the lights always on. And you just like, you see the train, and you see like all the little like his like artifacts and all his little things that he had for the train, and his love of trains and everything. And the Lily Bell is there, and you get to see that. And it's just like so many, like, just for me, childhood memories of like going through the park and seeing all that stuff. And like for us, I guess Californians, and we know like at least somebody that worked at the parks or grew up going there or whatever. And like my mom worked at one of the hotels across the street from the park. So every time she had off, she was at Disneyland. So I literally don't remember a time in my life that Disneyland was not a part of my life. Like it was. And when I tell you, like, I would go there almost weekly. I went there almost weekly, like as a kid.
Real weekly. But see, that's interesting because I grew up here, you know, born and raised, and been going to Disneyland or Disney World my whole life. Yeah. So going to Disney World, Magic Kingdom specifically, has always had that very Disney feeling. Everyone knows what that is. You feel Disney, you just feel it. So I've always felt like I was at Disney, being at Magic Kingdom. And when I finally went to Disneyland, I felt like I was, you know, making my Mecca. You know, I had to go see it. I don't. I mean, so many people are like, "Oh, they're like, oh, you're gonna hate it. It's so small. It's this and that." I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, I just want to see it. I want to go. I want to experience it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did. I love that place. I would go back. I mean, I don't know if I would go every year, but I would. I love it. I mean, it's very. But when I was there, I felt the same way that I do here. It's just I felt different. I felt like, okay, Walt touched this place, and like, but I still had that same feeling at Disney World, just because that's what I grew up on.
Yeah. Like, to me, I feel like more like Roy Disney is more Walt Disney World, and Walt Disney is more Disneyland. Sure. So it's so different because, like, when I walk into Walt Disney World, I feel more of like his brother's presence there.
Sure.
So you get to see his statue and the bench and all that kind of stuff. So there's more of that, but like at Disneyland, it's completely different. Did you ever do the Walk in Walt's Footsteps, the tour?
No, I haven't, but I would love to.
That honestly, I have to say, for anybody that's never been to Disneyland or has been to Disneyland and has never done that tour, it's literally a must. Like, I don't care whatever else you do.
I've heard that.
You have to do that tour.
It's unbelievable. I have at Walt Disney World, though. I have done I have done Keys to the Kingdom tour at Walt Disney World, which, if you're a Disney fan, I mean, if you're watching this video, you're probably more than just a fan.
Yeah.
So I recommend that tour to everyone. It's so awesome. I mean, you really learn the history of it and how it came to be, and you get to go in the utilidors underneath, and it's just
that's cool.
It's great.
That would be cool. I would like to.
It's not even that expensive, honestly. Like, with your annual pass holder discount, I think it's like $80, $89, I think it was. It's like a 12-hour tour. I mean, obviously you have to have admission to the park. I mean, if you have an annual pass, you don't have to worry about it. But so yeah, it's like with an AP discount, I think it was $89. It was a 5-hour guided tour. It included lunch, and I got a pen with it. It's somewhere. It's up at the top. It's like a key with a Mickey on it, and it says Keys to the Kingdom on it.
That's cool.
Oh, it was excellent. I got my name tag up there too. Actually, you probably can't see it, but
like the Walk in Walt's Footsteps tour is about the same thing, except for, obviously it's the Disneyland park. And they do give you a tour of Walt's apartment, so you get to go in there, and they haven't changed anything since he passed away. So basically all the decor and everything that's in the apartment is original.
Yeah. The only time it changes is Christmas when they put a tree up.
Yeah, that's the only difference, is that they change out the tree from the lamp. But other than that, they don't really change anything else. And so like his record player is still there. He has like a toaster that because he loved chili and he loved grilled cheese sandwiches. So like his thing was like he would make himself a grilled cheese sandwich on this like toaster thing that he had, and it's still there in the apartment. It's crazy just like looking at all this stuff that like he got to touch and he got to, you know, deal with, and just having the whole tour. But the biggest thing is like getting to hear like the story of like how Walt built the park, and the love that he had for like his brother and his wife is like so meaningful. Like, oh my gosh, it was so emotional. Like I literally was bawling. Like by the end of the tour, I was bawling.
I would also love to go to the Walt Disney Family Museum, and
that's my next stop. I actually went to San Francisco, and the weekend I was there, it was closed.
I would go to Marceline.
Oh, honestly. Heck yeah, Marceline, Missouri. Yeah,
they have a lot of Walt Disney related stuff there.
So. Yeah, they have the barn out there. So
yeah.
Which they have a replica of the barn here in California, which is another cool thing that like we try to tell people. Like early on in our channel when we first started, we tried to show people things that you could do outside of the park that was Disney related in California. And so one of the things we did was we went to Walt's grave. We also went to it's called the Carolwood Barn. And it's a barn that his daughter started, and she donated a lot of stuff for the family to that barn, and it's a museum, and it's actually free admission. It's like every third Sunday, or I know it's only open on Sunday, but you have to check the calendar because it's only one certain Sunday every month, but it's free to go, and you can take a tour of the barn, and you get to see like all of Walt's, like his barn stuff, his trains that he used to have in his backyard of his house are there. And like all kinds of other different things. But one of the really cool things about it is that you actually get to ride one of the miniature trains that he used to have in his backyard. So it's only $12 to ride the train, but it's a super cool experience, and I absolutely love it. And me and my family, we've gone like at least 4 or 5 times ever since I've been the first time, and that was last year. So it's a really cool experience, and I always tell people like, go see the other things outside of the park that doesn't cost an arm and a leg, but you can still get to experience, you know, that Walt Disney feel and that kind of stuff. Because, you know, even going to like Walt Disney Studios is like amazing.
Oh, Life with Roxana. She did the DCP. She said, I used to walk through the utilidors all the time back when I did the DCP.
Oh, cool.
They're so cool down there. You can't even imagine how big it is, though. I mean, you could drive. The tunnel is so big that like the main, like I think they actually call it Main Street down there, like where it comes in from the backside, but it runs like the length of the park. And they can drive a tractor trailer underneath that park. It's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Like while you're walking on Main Street, could be a tractor trailer driving underneath of it. It's massive.
I heard it's like a city under the park.
They have a barbershop down there, like for cast members that they put the barbershop down there. So back in the day, like, well, the Disney look is a lot more lax than it used to be.
Yeah.
Like, now that they allow facial hair, and back in the day they didn't. But like they would make you, if you weren't up to Disney look, they would make you get a haircut before work. And so, but it still operates to this day, and they give haircuts to cast members, and I mean, you have to pay for it, but there's a Subway down there, like a Subway sandwich shop. I actually seen that as a clickbait on the YouTube video talking about
cool.
It was like the Subway underneath Disney, underneath the Magic Kingdom, and the Subway shop.
Wouldn't a cast member get fired if they posted pictures or something?
Oh yeah. You're not allowed, but I mean, Disney has released photos in the utilidor, so
Yeah.
they're online. You can find them.
Yeah, there's so many different things. I know, like when I was a cast member at Disneyland, like there was certain things like we could not take pictures backstage. Like that was a huge no-no. But like I remember whenever I was in high school, and I was in performing arts, and we actually performed as a choir at Disneyland, and that was the first time I ever went backstage. And the very first time that I got to see backstage, like what it looked like, I was just, my jaw was dropped, and I was literally like, holy crap, I'm behind Disneyland. Like I could not, like my mind was just blown.
Well, another one of the really cool parts that you get to do on the highlight of the Keys of the Kingdom tour by far is the utilidors. I mean, that's why everybody does it. I mean, I would pay $90 to go in there again for sure. But another really cool part is you go backstage behind Splash Mountain at the Magic Kingdom, and they show you like the inner workings of Splash Mountain and how like the water's regenerated and all that stuff. And it is so crazy when you go back there and you see like I forget what they call it, but there's like a yellow line drawn on the ground, like where you have to be, in character. It's on stage.
Oh, yeah, on stage and off stage, yeah.
Yeah, but once you get past that, like all the theming stops, and it's, I mean, it looks like you're in a warehouse somewhere.
Yeah.
It's just crap everywhere, and I mean, but it's a working. It's what it's supposed to look like. I mean, I don't know why people like want to like break in and go back there, because it's really nothing to see. I mean, it looks like a garage in most circumstances. There's nothing much to see.
It's funny because Disneyland during the holidays, or when it gets super packed, we don't have another pass through on Main Street. So like in Walt Disney World, you can enter through Main Street, or you guys can enter through the side where like close to where the Tomorrowland is, like on the other side of the Plaza Inn or whatever.
Only for parties. That's the only time you can come in through that.
Yeah, so like you guys have those two different things. We don't at Disneyland. We only have Main Street, and that's it. So it's like there's only one way in the park and one way out of the park, and that's through Main Street. So when it gets really super packed and it's congested and like people are trying to get in and out, they open like the backstage area, which is like a side pass, and it goes back behind the Emporium and everything. And it comes out right by the firehouse where Walt's apartment is. So you can see the stairway to Walt's apartment right there.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And you can see that whole backstage area. So they actually let people pass through there. And some people are just amazed whenever they walk by there. They're just like, they want to stand around and take pictures and everything. And security's just like, come on, keep moving.
When Magic Kingdom gets really, really like super busy, they have those overflow areas. Like if you ever been to like a Halloween party or Christmas party at Magic Kingdom, like when you're walking down Main Street to the right of like the confectionery and everything, that's where you enter those parties, and then it's kind of semi backstage. I mean, so they'll open that up, but if it on the really, really busy nights, they do it behind Emporium too. They open that up, and it's very backstage there, though. You see like all the Main Street vehicles parked. And
that's how that one is over at Disneyland. Yeah, because I've been through the pass through for the Not So Scary Halloween party and the Very Merry Christmas party, where they opened up that side over by close to Tomorrowland, like that pass through in between Tomorrowland and the I don't know what you guys call it, because we call it Plaza Inn over here.
On the right side, it's the it's the ice cream shop, and it's the Plaza restaurant.
Oh, okay, so it's Plaza Inn still.
Casey's Corner, and then on the other side, it's I think it's the Plaza, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
She's like right by the Main Street ice cream place. So it's the Plaza Inn.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was the Plaza Inn, but I wasn't too sure because
Tony's is up in the front. Yeah, it's the Plaza Inn.
And then we don't have Casey's Corner at Disneyland. We have
Coke Corner,
the Carnation Cafe.
Carnation Cat, and then Coke Corner too.
Yeah, and Coke Corner. And so it's the same as Casey's. It's just a different name and different kind of theming. But like the food and stuff, they kind of serve the same thing.
I like
hot dogs.
Disneyland Main Street better. I like, it's weird. I like the setup of Disneyland Main Street better, but I like the way our buildings look better. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like our buildings have like the awnings and the overhangs and stuff.
Yeah.
I love the way Disneyland set up with like the restaurant in the middle there. What is that's the Carnation Cafe, like right in the middle. And yeah, I love it. I love the way it looks there. A lot more seating.
I'll say that
Disneyland.
I hardly ever walk down Main Street itself other than when I first get there because it's so crowded. I just cut through all the stores.
We do that too.
All through Casey's Quarters, like go right past the.
Absolutely, yeah. Get that air conditioning.
And that's one of the weirdest things too, is that I almost forgot that I was in Walt Disney World when I went down there the last time, and I was inside the Emporium because it looks almost exactly the same as the one in Disneyland. That I was literally walking around, and then I was like, oh, I was thinking like the little train sets and stuff were over here on the right, and I started walking, and I was like, wait, where's the jewelry store? And I was like for a minute there, I was like, wait, where am I? Okay, wait, I'm in Florida. Because like for a minute there, I literally thought I was at Disneyland, and I was like, okay, I know where everything's at. Yeah. And then I made a right, and the jewelry store is Disneyland is right there, but at Walt Disney World it's not. And so I was like, wait a minute, I'm confused.
I think you have some coffee.
Yeah, I just got Starbucks.
Nice.
My daughter just came home and brought me Starbucks, and then Scotty just walked in. Everybody's coming home right now.
You guys were talking about like nostalgia for Disney. My first official time at Disney was in 2017, but when I was pregnant with my son, I did go to Epcot. I didn't go anywhere else, just Epcot.
Oh, wow.
You hated that, didn't you?
No.
Oh, did you like it?
I actually, yes, I was pregnant and I didn't get to drink, and the friends that I went with were boozing it up like crazy. But I really did have a good time. I liked it a lot. I rode the ride in Mexico. I rode what?
Land.
I rode what used to be in Norway before Frozen.
Maelstrom.
Oh, Maelstrom.
Oh, that was so much better.
I got to ride that ride. I was so happy that I got to ride it before they took it out and got rid of and put Frozen in. But like when I the very first time I went was about, God, my 12-year-old was 3 at the time. That was the very first time I went to Walt Disney World. So it was a while ago. But yeah, I actually got to ride Maelstrom before they changed it over, which is cool.
It's crazy because like the older I get, the more I appreciate Epcot. I enjoy going to Epcot now. My daughter can't stand it. She hates it.
So like, Christy, what is your favorite park out of all the parks?
For me, because of that's the only nostalgia I have, it is Epcot.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite, it's not my favorite ride, but it's one of the top rides is Soarin'. But it wasn't Soarin' over the world when I rode it for the first time. It was Soarin' over California. And that was the only 3 rides I rode besides the monorail. We hopped on the monorail and we rode it. That's when they had it at where you could ride in the front. And it was at closing, and we rode it like 4 times to where we could pass by Magic Kingdom and see the castle.
Oh, wow.
So we took the one from Epcot over to Magic Kingdom and rode that one.
So Travis, what is your favorite park?
I probably Magic Kingdom. I mean, and Hollywood Studios is a close second. I like them all, but I mean, I got to give it to Magic Kingdom. It's got to be my favorite. I would think.
Main Street Explorer says Animal Kingdom is their favorite.
That's my second favorite.
I do like Animal Kingdom. In fact, I think I'm gonna go there this week.
But for Walt Disney World, my favorite park is Epcot, and I think I love it because me and Scotty are huge we're huge foodies.
Yeah.
So we like going around and doing like whenever they do the festival of the holidays and they do the whole what's it called, the garden,
Flower garden.
Flower and garden, yeah. And
I hear that a lot though from California people, that they like Epcot is their favorite Disney park over here because it is so Walt centric.
Yeah,
because
it is
it
so
was his
Walt-centric.
dream. I mean, the Magic Kingdom was never the deal. Like he wanted Epcot. That was the thing. So that's why so many California people love Epcot, and I've heard it a lot from Disneylanders that come here. Epcot's favorite.
It's that, and I think that
because they associate Disney with Walt Disney. Like,
well, I think it's maybe subconsciously it is. I don't know, but I think also it kind of reminds us of California Adventure, the way that Epcot is, because we, like, you guys have Festival of the Holidays, we have Festival of the Holidays, but it's always at California Adventure. It's never at Disneyland.
Sure.
So like California Adventure is like our second park. And Epcot kind of reminds us of that, even though they don't have the different countries. During the holidays and stuff like that, we celebrate different countries. So like, especially Mexico, like when we do Festival of the Holidays and stuff, we have the Viva Navidad. So we do the whole like traditional Mexican Christmas things, and they do tamales and they do champorado and all that other stuff. So even though like I'm not Hispanic, Scotty is, we have tamales every year. We do that whole thing. So
I'm just glad that Disneylanders are finally accepting DCA, but they hated that place. But I mean, just watching the Imagineering series, I mean, with like understandably so, because that place was atrocious when it opened. That was you cannot put a Disney name on that piece of crap that they opened. It
was so bad. It felt like it was
County Fair. That was like the Orange County Fair or whatever it is in California.
It felt like it was rushed. It felt like it was not, like they just wanted to push something out. And for us,
you can't put that next to something like Disneyland and expect people to ever like it. Like Disneylanders have a bad taste in their mouth for DCA. They don't like it. They don't.
Yeah. I mean, we like it
we've
now.
grown up with multiple parks.
Yeah, I mean, we like it now, but like it took us a long time for us to get to that part where we actually like the park.
Yeah.
And even if we had a choice, we prefer Disneyland over California Adventure. Sure. But it's because they're not fully there yet with the park. Like they're getting there, but they're not fully there yet. So maybe once they start building like the Marvel area that they're talking about building and all that kind of stuff, then it'll start to feel like, okay, this is a Disney park. Because right now it feels almost like a Disney park, but not quite. It's like it's almost there.
Yeah. See, I was just there in February, and it feels much better. Like going there with Cars Land, and Bugs Land was horrible too. That was so cheap. I mean, it was good theming, but just cheap. I mean, carnival rides in my opinion, but Cars Land saved that place. I mean, it's so well done. That place, the theming is unbelievable.
Yeah,
and I enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. I did. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it's amazing. Hon, can you answer my phone for me, please?
Yeah.
I think it's my daughter. I might have to go. Well, maybe not. If Scotty can go, because I think that's my daughter wanting to be picked up.
Yeah.
To go, but is that she wanting to be picked up, hon?
Kelly's trying to join. She's having a connection issue, but she's trying to join.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go because I gotta go pick up my daughter.
Okay.
But it was fun speaking with you guys. I hope you guys have a great night.
Absolutely.
Thanks for talking with me.
Drive safe.
And dropping stuff. Oh, let me fix this.
And then there was two.
And there were two. Oh my gosh, I'm going back to the other one.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, no, like earlier today, my coworker, I have this plant sitting. Oh, I'm going to get depressing now. Sorry. I have this plant sitting in the window. I have a window seat.
Uh-huh.
And he was over there and he's like, I think you need to throw that thing away because there were pieces that were dying. I was like, no, it just needs to be trimmed up. He's like, I think you need to throw it away. And I'm like, I'm not ready. And then we started talking about all the deaths that happened in my family this year. And then I just started bawling. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe I just made you cry.
Ugh.
So, yeah, well. So talk about Galaxy's Edge. You said you haven't ridden the Rise of...
No, I have not ridden it. I'm 95% sure I'm going to go tomorrow. It'll be Sunday morning, which, so basically, the only reason I haven't ridden it, let's be fair, like I've been to Hollywood Studios 2 or 3 times now since it's been open, but if you're not in that park, or at least at that park by 5 o'clock in the morning, you're just not going to get on it. That's just how they have it right now. So what you have to do is you have to be at the park and lined up at where you like tap your magic band to go in, and it's filling up every day there. So I think the park opens at 8. People have been getting there. I think they open a parking lot up at like 4:30 or something like that. So people start lining up at the touch styles by like 5. And so so many people are piling up in there, so they're being forced, basically safety reasons, to open the park early so people don't, it become a safety reason,
Right.
People piled up on top of each other. So they've been letting people in by like 6:30. And once you're in the park, you have to open up the app, which is connected to your magic band and all that. And then you have to join a boarding group to get on the attraction. And that's pretty much how the only way to guarantee you're going to get on that ride is to be at that park at 5 a.m. waiting. At that point, you walk in the park, you join the boarding group, and from what I understand, the park opens at 8. By 7 a.m., the boarding groups are done for the day. So the park's not even technically opened yet. So, but they have been, from what I understand, if the park opens at 8, they're letting people in at 6:30, and the park's kind of open, but it's like soft opened at the time. I mean, they have attractions open, like Tower of Terror's running, Rock and Roller Coaster's operating, Slinky Dog's operating, and I think Millennium Falcon might be operating, because they got to disperse them people somewhere. I mean, you got thousands of people lining up, so they got to do something with them.
So it's a virtual queue.
Yes, it's a virtual queue.
Okay.
And what's cool though is if you say you get in there that early. So hypothetically speaking, if you're there at 5 o'clock in the morning and you're within the first few hundred people to tap into that park, you should get, hypothetically speaking, again, it is Disney, things could happen, but you should get a fairly early boarding number, I think they're calling it, boarding pass. So what happens at that point is, say you get, hypothetically speaking, you get boarding group 11, say. So you just wander around the park, and then by like 7 o'clock, they're calling people to ride that ride. So I've heard a lot of people that have been there at 5 o'clock in the morning, and by 7:30, they're off the ride. They're done with it, and the park's not even technically open yet. So that's what happens is so you go in, you open the app, you join the boarding group, you get a return time, basically. Then you get a notification on your phone that says, okay, it's now time for you to board. Like, now boarding groups 11 through 20 or whatever. And the cool thing about that is that you have 2 hours to do it. You don't have to like run over there right then and there and do it. Like, so you could essentially, I mean, if you had a resort or something there, you could go back to your room. And
so you could leave the park.
Yeah, you could leave there as long as you can make it back there within 2 hours. You can get on that attraction, but you have to be physically in that park to get the boarding group, which sucks. I mean, I'm like 2 hours away from there, so I mean,
you have to leave at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning.
I have to leave at 3 a.m. to get there by 5. So, but I'm willing to do it Sunday just to ride it because everyone's doing it, and I just want to get it over with and make it happen.
I said,
Because otherwise, you're not going to ever. I mean, it's going to be like Hagrid. I mean, that ride still, like, there's people that I don't want it to be 6 months from now and I still haven't ridden it, because they could be doing this virtual queue for a long time, as popular as it is.
I rated 2 hours, 2.5, 2 or 2.5 hours to ride Hagrid.
Yeah.
But it was worth it. I love that.
That's going to be the thing. After they stop with the boarding group things, it's going to be flight of passage type waits. I mean, last February at 2018. It was a year after that flight of passage had opened, and the waits were still 5-6 hour waits for flight of passage.
When we were there, so we tried to rope drop flight of passage twice. We had fast passes for it, but we tried to rope drop it twice. The first time we tried, there was already a 90-minute wait, and I was like, meh. The second time we tried, we got there, and it was extra magic hours, and it was at 240 minutes. We got there at 8 a.m. for the extra magic hours, and it was already at 240 minutes. I was like, where did you people come from?
Yeah, that's a lot of the decisions. I like when I pick what park I'm going to, I'll pick whichever one doesn't have extra magic hours. And that's the thing. A lot of like resort guests, apparently, that's sort of a friend told me today that resort guests are complaining that they're not, they have extra magic hours for staying on property, and they're still not able to get on to the new ride, Rise of the Resistance. And I'm like, I understand why they're upset, but at the same time, you have to do a little work. Get off your butt and go. Like, I mean, all those, I understand why they're mad. They've paid all that money for the Disney resort and everything, but at the same time, pay attention. I mean, you're at the busiest vacation destination in the world. Like, to ensure you get on it, I mean, if you got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, you got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, make it happen. So,
yeah,
it's not a guaranteed thing. Like,
no, I mean, I didn't get to ride. What ride? I don't remember. There were a couple of rides that I kind of wanted to ride that I didn't get to ride, but we rode most everything. We didn't ride Frozen at all while we were there. I think it was down at one point, and the other point, it was the line was way too long to ride.
It's like Bob sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Bob just told me today, for the love of the mouse, you know who they are, right? Crystal and Tyson, that they were just here last week, and they were not going to be able to ride it because they had to be at the park at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and they just didn't want to. They were on vacation, which I don't blame them. They don't want to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go wait in line. So they just weren't going to be able to do it. And they were just walking around Hollywood Studios, and an old couple gave them 4 fast passes for Rise of the Resistance.
Oh, so wow.
They were able to do it just by a whim. They're like, here, you guys want these? We don't want to wait. It was for like, they had to wait like another 4 hours for it, but they gave them their boarding group for like, I don't know when it was, but I don't know. They had to wait a while, but whatever. They still got to do it. They weren't going to be able to otherwise. So,
yeah, I was talking to someone, I think it was on a Facebook board. They were asking about Galaxy's Edge and that they were excited the Rise of Resistance was opening. And they said, what do you think of the park before it opened? And my response was, the land is super immersive, but it's a little lackluster because there's only one thing to do there, and everything else costs an arm and a leg because the food there is expensive, and everything else. It's like more expensive just than the rest of the park.
It is. Even like you get a beer, for instance. Like, I mean, beer is expensive anyway at Disney, but I mean, you can get a beer at that place, that tap house or whatever, just outside of Galaxy's Edge. I think it's called Baseline Tap House, right across from Muppets. They're like $9, which is, again, it's expensive for a beer, but whatever, it's at Disney. But you go into Galaxy's Edge, which, I mean, you go 100 yards away from the Baseline Tap House in the same park, and it's $14 almost for the same size beer. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's a lot.
It's like double the price almost.
Yeah, like $5 more. It's crazy. And I mean, that Ronto wrap, it's so good, but it's like $14 for that thing. I
don't really like it.
Pita hot dog. I
Well,
like
I
the.
got the Ronto wrap, and we also got the breakfast one, and then we got
I
like
don't care for the breakfast one.
I didn't like any of them, and then we got the like it wasn't a parfait, but it kind of looked like oatmeal with.
Yeah, yep. At
None of us liked any of it. We were like,
I ate a couple weeks ago. I ate for the first time at Docking Bay 7, and I got the fried Endorian tip yip, which is the fried chicken, and comes with either mashed potatoes or mac and cheese. And I got the mashed potatoes, and oh my god, I don't know what it was, but I shot a video. I never put it together. I don't know. I have it edited, but I just haven't released it yet. But I kept calling it jalapeno gravy. I don't. It was so hot. I'm like, if it's not jalapeno gravy, it should be. It was. I think it was probably like wasabi mashed potatoes, but oh my gosh, they were so spicy.
like Takis.
It was good. Like the chicken was really good, but it was super spicy, really spicy.
No.
That's the only thing I've ever had from Docking Bay 7.
So Cynthia said that Kelly just went live from the resort. She tried to pop in a couple of times while Nikki was still on, but it was having connecting issues. So I don't know if she's. Yikes! I've done flight twice in one day. I have two. Cynthia just said she's done Flight of Passage in one day, twice in one day. We did last year. We rope dropped it, and we were on it in 30 minutes, and then we had a fast pass for later that day. This year, I guess it's because we went in October last year, and this year we went Thanksgiving
For
week.
what, Flight of Passage?
Yeah, we just couldn't get. I mean, it was a lot more crowded this year than it was the year before.
I've rope dropped it before, which is I mean, you'll get on and off that ride. I mean, say Animal Kingdom opens at 9:00 and you rope drop that ride, you'll be off that ride by 10 after 9. I mean, if you really rope drop, if the park opens at 9, you got to get there at 7, like to really make sure you're going to get on it quick. But I remember we did that.
Yeah, they don't.
Last year we went to the Christmas party, me and my daughter, and we rode Flight of Passage, and we waited like an hour and a half to do it. It wasn't too bad, but this was not the night of the Christmas party. We were just there for like 3 or 4 days. So, and we were staying on property that day, but we waited like an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes for Flight of Passage. And while we were waiting in line, I was like, we were staying at a Disney resort. So we were able to pick. I was like, I wonder how far out it takes to be able to get a fast pass for Flight of Passage. And it was like, we went to the Christmas party. It was like November 28th or something like that. It was like just after Thanksgiving last year in 2018. So I found it was as far, I could go up to 60 days in advance to book a fast pass. And I went to the first day that I could find a fast pass for it. It was 59 days away.
Oh,
and there was a fast pass available for Flight of Passage. So I'm like, oh, well, I guess we're coming to Animal Kingdom on January 23rd. So I went ahead and booked them. And the only reason I was able to get it is because we were staying on property at the time. So I was like, I'm a hotel guest. So that fast passes, otherwise they're not there.
no.
Flight of Passage isn't available.
Cynthia, the buses will start running 1 hour before the park opens. So if the park opens at 9 and there's extra magic hours at 8, the buses start running at 7. So it's just 1 hour. So I think that's where the guests are kind of like, I got here at 7 or 7:15. Why am I a long line? It's because the other people that are staying on property are either taking
Uber
or walking, depending on what park they're going to. If you're staying over by Epcot, they're just walking over.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a lot more crowded this year than it was last year, but I think it was because it was Thanksgiving. But our first year, which was 2017, we didn't even ride Flight of Passage. We didn't get a chance to. We did the Navi River Journey, but we didn't do Flight of Passage.
Yeah, there's nothing relaxing about a Disney vacation.
No,
It's not relaxing.
no,
It's not.
that's why, like, because I was off for what 9 days. I was off from the 22nd through the 2nd and went back to work on the 3rd. So, but I had no relaxed time.
Mm-mm.
And then I go on vacation again, staycation, on the 19th, and I go back to work on the 30th.
See, that's why it's important on those, week-long visits to Disney or whatever, to have a. See, I never really have that problem because I'm like a pass holder, even when I stay on property, so we can go anytime. But like, it's if you're like paying, like you're getting multi-day park hoppers or whatever the case may be, like it's important to like take a day where you're just hanging out at the resort and just enjoy those resorts and chill and
We sort of did that.
force yourself to relax, because otherwise you're just gonna go.
Yeah.
And you probably still did that. You probably still, well, we got to go here for breakfast and here for lunch and here for dinner, and you're waiting on a bus somewhere. Like,
we were there 8 days. We had 6-day park tickets, 1 Universal day, and on Wednesday, which was the day before Thanksgiving, was our down day. There was nothing down about it. We went and played miniature golf. We went to all these different resorts to look at the
you play
gingerbread
golf
houses.
on property at Disney?
Yeah, we had free tickets to miniature golf, and we
Which
also did
one
for
did you do? Winter Summerland?
um
Was it on property at Disney?
yeah, it was on property.
Okay. Winter Summerland or Fantasia Gardens?
Fantasia.
Okay. See, my annual pass cover it. I have free mini golf, and I've never done it ever. And I get free mini golf and regular golf too, but I don't.
We did the adult course. They have 2 courses at Fantasia. There's an adult course and a kids course. The kids course was like an hour wait, whereas the adult course was 20-minute wait. Wow. We didn't even finish the course. I looked at the clock. I looked at my watch, and I was like, if we're going to do this, we need to go. So we left like halfway through.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was, I don't know. It was extreme. I want to go back like next year, but I know we won't be able to. We've got too much going on to go back for a couple of years.
I was just there on Tuesday, and I want to go back. So I know how it is.
I wanted to go back the day we left. I was like, I don't want to leave.
I find that's so. I do that every time, and I go all the time. I mean, once a week usually, typically, but it's so hard for me to peel myself off that. I'm like, I gotta go home. I gotta go. I just keep leaving.
Well, you and Nikki were talking about what feels like home to you, like which park or where. For me, it's Animal Kingdom Lodge. I don't know. There's something about that resort that as soon as I walk in, I'm like super.
Is it Kidani Village or which one? Jumbo
House, yeah.
Which one's the first one? I've been all over that resort, but I don't know which one's which.
Which one's what?
Which one is for the first one you come up to?
Jumbo.
Jumbo House. Oh, because I've been all over that resort, but I can't walking around it just to check it out. But I can't ever remember which one's first.
Yeah, I'm just so comfortable when I walk in there. That and Wilderness Lodge, we went there, and it felt very comfortable there too.
Animal Kingdom Lodge is it's the biggest circle you ever walked in your life. Like those rooms, they just keep going and going and going and going and going and going.
We stayed almost at the very end this time. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's such a long walk, especially after a long day in the parks. Rope drop closed, or even worse, rope drop to close, but past that because it's the Christmas party.
I know.
Because I don't think I got hardly any sleep. So we left Friday night, probably like 7:00. So we got
all day on Friday too.
Yes, we left at 7 p.m. and we got to Jumbo House at 6 a.m. Dropped our stuff off. Immediately went over to Hollywood Studios and was there all day.
The day you got there, the day you left, were you in the parks that day too?
No, that night. What was that night? That night we were at Epcot all night, and man, we got back to the room really, really late. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning when we got back because the Magic Kingdom was open till midnight. So we jumped over to Magic Kingdom, and it was like 1:30 when we got back. We went to sleep and slept until about 4 a.m. and then got up and checked out and drove home.
Oh,
So
wow.
we got like 3 hours of sleep.
Hey, it's get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I guess I have to be at work at like 3 o'clock in the morning, so I got to get off here pretty soon.
All right. Well, yeah, we can go ahead. I am totally relaxing when I go. Oh, so Cynthia is relaxing when she goes. All right. So we'll end the stream and then stay on for just a minute when we get off the stream. All right. I think it's just Cynthia and us left in the chat. I don't know if you're in there. I'm in there. So there's 2 people. So you
I'm
guys
there too, so it's probably me, you, and her.
yeah, Cynthia, have a good night. If there is anyone else in the chat,
being here all night.
good night. All right. I'm ending the stream. It takes a second though.